Hey everyone, it's Skyee here, and a while ago I put up a post in the community tabs about book options for a possible second Halloween color along, and I'm going to do my very best to bring that to you guys, so we're going to get started on that today. The book that won was Jasmine Becket-Griffith's Halloween. So there was two options in here that I was kind of leaning towards coloring, and I finally picked one, and I'm cutting it pretty close to when I want to get this up and posted, so we are just going to dive on in. Just a little disclaimer, if you hear anything rattling around like the sound, I am constantly having holes in my mouth because I am getting sick again. I literally just got over being sick, and now I woke up with a sore throat the other day, and so I apologize if you can hear the holes moving around in my mouth, and if my voice gets weird or if I have to cough or anything, I do apologize. But we are gonna dive on in, and I'm gonna work my butt off to get this color along recorded as fast as I can so we can post it, and also before I possibly get worse and like maybe can't talk or sound like a frog again. So with that being said, let's dive on in. So this is Jasmine Becket-Griffith's Halloween book. So many beautiful pictures. It took me a while to be able to narrow it down, but I think we're going to color a pumpkin gift. I'm a little bit nervous because this is one of my favorite images in the book, but I think it'll be super fun. So I've got some colors picked out. I grab a couple spare sheets of paper to put behind the page, so that way we don't indent and ruin the tooth of the pages behind this one. And now I lost it. Where'd it go? There she is. All right. So I think we're going to keep part one fairly simple. We are going to just dive in and start coloring the pumpkins. And I do imagine this is going to take me a little bit. So, okay. I can't remember what I was saying. Had to talk to Rain a little bit there. Bought him something. He's calling me a shithead. So yeah, we're just gonna start on the pumpkins. I think that's what I was saying. I honestly can't remember. So I've got all my colors out here, and I just kind of picked some generic pumpkin colors and then went with just some other tones to throw in just to make some of the pumpkins look different. And then with the stems, I couldn't really decide between green or brown. I know like a traditional pumpkin stem is, it looks more brown than green, but I think I want to kind of have a variation of both as well. So yeah, let's just dive on in here. Just gonna fix my hair clip because it's making my head itchy, and we'll get started. I think let's grab the yellow ochre for the first one. I'm gonna switch my chair out quick, and I do want my pencil sharpener. Hannah Lynn Color Along is uploading to YouTube right now as we speak, so that's exciting. It's Inktober, the very first day today, so I'm gonna get started on that later. Lots to do. I'm running out of time to do everything, but it doesn't help that I wasn't feeling very well yesterday, so I didn't get a whole lot done, unfortunately. I had a lot more on my list that I would have liked to finish. I'm just gonna start on this guy here. Oh, I forgot how much I love working on this paper. So, just gonna lightly base this with the yellow ochre. So, for the Hannah Lynn Color Along, we did a fairly simple picture, and it took 5 hours. So, I'm hoping to have this up for Mondays, or if I can't get it recorded in time, then we'll do Wednesdays instead. That's if I don't get too sick to finish recording it, and if it does make it up. So we only have 4 Mondays and 4 Wednesdays in the week, so that gives us 4 hours to play around with, which is going to be impossible. So I think we're going to try and keep the parts to about an hour and a half, and that will at least give us like 2 extra hours to play around with. So instead of 4 hours, it would be 6 hours. So we're going to go that route. Let's come in with the terracotta for this one. A lot of these pencils I don't use a lot, so I'm going to have to be sharpening them. I don't really know what to do color-wise. I've got ideas, but nothing too in stone. So I'm just going to go on the side of the line that I feel like the shadow should be. I'm just going to put that in fairly heavily and then fade it out. I haven't colored pumpkins very often, so I think the last time I colored a pumpkin was actually when we colored Ghost Ship, and I ended up not liking it at all. It just kind of felt flat. I didn't have much for shadows or highlights. It just did not end up working out the way I wanted it to. So hopefully that's not the case for these ones. I'm thinking like browns, dark browns for the branches and stuff in the background. The background, I'm thinking like blacks and blues. I was thinking purple, but then if we add stars and stuff, our white will end up turning purple, so I don't really want to do that, I don't think. I think we'll go blue instead. Or we could always do a blue toned purple and then we shouldn't have that problem, but we'll see. And then her dress is the other thing that I'm a little bit kind of weary about. I'm not sure how I want to go about coloring that. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this in here. Especially on these back ones, I think I want to go in with a darker color. Sorry, my throat is just on fire right now. Her dress, I'm actually thinking purple and gold. I actually pulled this color for the stems, but I think we can throw it in on the pumpkins as well. Let's come back in with the terracotta. I'm going to use a fairly firm pressure and bring this out a little bit. Let's maybe add a little bit of this on this side too, just lightly. Okay, let's go in on this one with, let's see, I want to do the mineral orange. So as always, I'm just going to go over the shadows and kind of fade this out. I'm going to try and leave a little bit of a highlight at the very edge there. Back bit, I'll probably just color this one in just like that. Maybe color on the top just a little bit too on this side. Okay, so that was the mineral orange. Let's go in with the yellow ochre next. Not that one. This one. Just going to color over everything on this back one. highlight on this one here. Save a little bit of a highlight on this one too, and then try for this one as well. And then we'll come in with the beige. There's one pumpkin done. Give me 2 seconds. Heard something a little bit suspicious in the kitchen, so I have to go see what a cat is up to. Okay, I'm not sure what she was getting into, but... I think I got all my pencils back. I'm really not sure, so I'm actually going to check here and see how many I should have for these colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we're good. We are good. Okay, let's do... yellow and orange for the base on this one. We'll do this one more of like a bright pumpkin, I think, but with some like really deep red tones maybe. Let's come in with, the Tuscan Red, I think. It's the same thing as before. I'm just going to kind of pick out what side shadow should be coming from. I don't really care if I go out of the lines here because I always paint the borders black in the books anyways, so. Nice and dark. Might have to grab another Halls and warm up my tea. Okay, let's go in with the terracotta. Add a little bit on this side too. And we'll maybe come back down here with the Tuscan Red and make this area a little bit darker as well. Trying to save highlights where we can. Let's go back in with the Tuscan Red. Just gonna lightly add a little bit to this, but I think we're also gonna go in with the sepia to really pull that into shadow. And then we'll just quickly go back through them. in with the orange now. Same as before, we're going to go over everything and kind of bring this out, and we'll try and save highlights wherever we can. This back one here, we're just going to color it in completely. Same with this one on this side. I think this bit here, I'm just going to color this in fully with the orange. So who knows how big this part actually is. It's kind of cut off the page, so I'm not too worried about leaving a highlight there. And then we got highlights on the rest of these, but I'm just going to intensify that orange color. And then let's do our highlight with, let's also go in with the beige on this one. We got 2 pumpkins colored. Okay, we'll do this one here, which I think I want to make like really red, and then this one will be like really yellow. So I actually want to come in and base it with the pumpkin orange, I think. What are you doing? She's so crazy right now. She's trying to eat my pencils. Look at those big eyes of yours. You're so cute. Okay. So I seem to really like the effect that we get with going in with our second darkest and then going in with the darkest. So let's go in with the Tuscan Red. add this on the side of the lines where our shadow would be. And then we'll come in with our darkest, which in this case will be the sepia. And we're going to add this one really dark right over top, next to where those shadows will be. We can fade it out. I kind of bring this out on both sides for this one. Maybe a little bit on the bottom too. And we can go back in with the Tuscan red, go in over top, and we can bring this out a little bit until we can actually kind of see the color. And there we can come in with the terracotta. Over top of everything. I'm going to bring it out and leave a little bit of a highlight, but I'm going to lightly go over that highlight. I'm going to add a good amount of this terracotta to it. That way, when we mix the orange with it, it's going to be a little bit more of a red instead of just a bold orange. This one will just leave a little bit uncolored, just because we want that highlight to be really light. Same with this one. And then these two, we'll just do the same thing and just lightly go over the highlight a little bit. And then we'll come in with the orange. And we'll just go in over top of everything. We are able to finish all of the pumpkins in this part, I will be happy. getting into now. Okay, let's move on to this one. I want this one to be fairly yellow, but I want it to be kind of like a light yellow. So we'll go in with the yellow ochre and base it. See where we're at for uploading. See, part 1 is completely done. Part 2 is a little over halfway. I love this new computer. It takes way less time to edit and render the videos. On Rain's old dinosaur downstairs, what I was doing before, let's come in with the terracotta. Actually, I don't know if I want the terracotta actually. Let's come in with the mineral orange or no, let's do pumpkin orange. It would take like 6 to 8 hours on Rain's computer to kind of render the videos. So I would have to get it set up and then just leave it overnight. And it would always almost overheat his computer, and that way, like if we were doing like a 4-part color along, it took me literally 4 days to get all of the videos done. And that's just render time. That's not recording time or editing or any of that. So it's a little bit ridiculous. With this new computer here, I'm able to render all of the videos in 1 day. And they actually take longer to upload to YouTube than they do to render. I think it'll probably take a day to upload all of them because, see, I started the first one at 7 o'clock. It's now 11. So it's been about 4 hours, and we're only through 1.5 out of 6 actually. Right? Why do I only have, no, there's 6 because also the speed color. So it is so much nicer. And I got that webcam to kind of make the quality a little bit better, but I'm finding it's actually kind of more of a hassle than anything because I gotta move my desk and stuff because the webcam has to be hooked up to the computer. It's way too slow on my little mini computer, and my computer's at a different desk than I can color on. It's a small desk, so I can't really color over there. What's your deal? The camera might wiggle a little bit because Miss Miko is up on the shelf. I don't know what you're doing, but don't think about it. Shh, no. Stay down. Miko. What are you doing? No. Bad. You do not need up there. But I think it'll be nice for live streams. Because I think the first live stream we did, actually I think the only live stream we did to test it, I've been so busy I haven't had time to jump on. I don't think it like buffered and cut in and out like it does on my phone. So if it solves that problem, then it's definitely worth the hassle of kind of reorganizing the art room to stream. So I'll probably just keep the webcam for streaming, and then color alongs and recordings we'll just do with the phone because it seems to work. It's a lot more convenient. The only thing I don't like about the phone is it always makes everything look grainy, even when it's not. Whereas when I recorded with my other phone, it was different, like the complete opposite. It always looked super smooth, even though it was still a little bit speckled, so but that's okay. Okay, so this is actually our second lightest color, so we'll come in and add a little bit of a shadow to this guy here. And we're gonna go fairly dark with this color on this side. Okay, and then we'll come in with the terracotta, I think. Or do we have a lighter alternative? No, we'll do terracotta. So I'm going to come in with like a medium heavy pressure and just add a little bit of shadow to what we've already got. Make sure to fade it out. Okay, this we're just going to focus on the right side. So we'll go back in with the pumpkin orange and work this back in and out from the shadow. We'll put in a little bit darker just to match it up, and then we'll fade it out. Try to leave a highlight where we can. Okay, so we're going to come in with the yellowed orange now. Save a little bit of a highlight at the top, fade it out. This one we'll just color in. So many different colored pumpkins, I love it. I feel like maybe I have colored pumpkins before, maybe I was lying. Or maybe I'm thinking of Inktober's. I don't know if I've colored a page with pumpkins aside from that Hannah one. I'd have to look. Actually, I think there was that little pumpkin girl from, I want to say it was in Jasmine's first book. I know we colored her. She was holding a pumpkin. So I probably colored more pumpkin pages and just don't remember. But they're not as intimidating as I thought. These are actually turning out pretty good, I think. Definitely try and leave a highlight here. And then this back one, I think we'll just color this in. Don't really have much room to do too much else with this one. Okay, but then for our last color with this one is actually going to be the yellow ochre. So I'm going to grab that and just pop that in there. They're so pretty. Okay, we've only got 3 big ones and a little one left. I think we'll definitely be able to finish these in the first part, and that takes up a lot of the image. And then I'm actually thinking for her clothes, I think I want to kind of mimic, oh, it's 11:11, hold on, I got a text read. With a heart. Aha, I made it. Anytime we pick up our phones and see 11:11, we usually always text each other. Okay. Or like say it to each other if we're around. Yeah, I think I kind of want to mimic what Jasmine actually did originally. This was her original painting. I really like this. I was kind of imagining having like gold metallic on the spiderweb parts of her dress, but I don't know if I really want to do that now. No, unless I've got more of like a yellow metallic. I guess we do have, I mean, I've got this yellow gold here, which is actually really similar. So we'll probably go over it in pencil for those of you that don't have metallic watercolors, and then I'll probably go back over it with this after. So just keep that in mind that we'll probably end up using this. So if you are going to end up using this like I probably will, you won't have to color in that part. I'll try and remind you guys later, although I know I always say that and then I always forget to put whatever it is up, so I apologize. I am a space case. I really need to like write things down, otherwise it's gone. I just completely forget. Okay, I haven't been really keeping track of the individual pumpkin colors, but I want to try and recreate this one for this front one here. So I know we used the sepia. We definitely used the beige, we used the yellow ochre for sure. I'm pretty sure we used the pumpkin orange for that one. That's mineral, I want pumpkin. I think it was just those colors. Let's see if we can kind of recreate it, and even if it doesn't have to be the same as long as it's a little bit similar. So we'll go in and base it with the yellow ochre first. Be really mindful of her fingers. I usually don't mind coloring over the lines a whole lot, but skin is very light and very hard to fix, so we're just gonna try and be careful. Okay, so we'll come in with the terracotta, or sorry, did I use terracotta for that one too? I think I did. Okay, we'll use it. That's not terracotta though, that's pumpkin orange. Okay, I want this one. I don't really like when the pumpkins don't have lines coming all the way down because it just makes it a little bit more difficult. So we'll just kind of draw some lines and figure out. I'm gonna add some lines coming up from the bottom too, and hopefully that'll kind of help. Bring this back a little bit. Okay, maybe like that. So we'll just have them like darker at the top, and then we'll fade it out, darker at the bottom, fade it out both ways. So it's fading out this way as well as up. So you can still kind of see where the pumpkin lines are without them being too visible. Okay, let's go in with the sepia, I think, if I can find that one. I'm gonna add that to the very edges and fade it out just slightly. Bring it in at the top, fade it up down here and out this way. Same with the bottom, fade it up and out. Looking at the difference between the colors in these already, I'm really not sure if I used the terracotta or not. I don't think I did. But we'll use it here. Just go lightly and then we'll go over it with a different color so it's not quite so dominant. So we'll just go back over. I'm not going to bring it out any farther than I already have. And then we'll go in with, I think we used the pumpkin orange. So we'll put that in over top and bring it out just a little bit. I want this to take on more of the yellow look, so I don't want to add too much of the oranges. Just going to add little bits. I will add a little bit on this side though. Actually, maybe let's add a little bit on both sides. Just going to lightly pop that in. Kind of following the same shape. So it's kind of like a long oval. Trying to be really mindful of her fingers, but it's a little bit difficult. Okay, and then we'll come in with the yellow ochre. This will hopefully really yellow things up. I'm gonna burnish the shadows with this. And I'm gonna bring it out and lighten it up. I'm gonna try and save a little bit of a highlight. Actually, let's move back down to this one here. I want to add just a little bit of a line there as well, so we'll just go back through these colors quick to make it cohesive with the rest. And this, we'll just bring this in and fade it out towards the middle. And then we'll finish it off with the beige. And just to kind of lighten everything up and smooth it all together, I'm just going to go over pretty much everything with this. So it's not quite the same, but it's similar enough. They may not be twins, but they could be sisters. Okay, this big one here, I kind of want to be like the bright orange one on the top side there, I think. Yeah. So let's go in with, I'm trying to remember what colors we used. Okay, I know we definitely used the Tuscan red on that one. Pretty sure we used the terracotta. Let's maybe grab those. Grab a little bit of the sepia as well too, just for some deeper groove shadows there. And then I know we definitely used the orange and the beige. Oh, I'm sorry, my throat is just not fun at all. Okay, let's start in with the terracotta. And then I also want to add some shadow in where her hands are kind of laying over this pumpkin. Might not be quite as dark as the pumpkin grooves, but we'll give it some good shadow anyways. I think this is pumpkin too. Goodness, I love Halloween. Can we just color Halloween pages all year? Can we make that like a normal? I would so do that. Let's just have an entire year of Halloween coloring. like wondering why this is not fading as easily as it usually is, and then I realized that we didn't put a base on this one. I can't even remember what we based the other one with. Let's go in and just quickly base it with a yellow orange. I don't know why it seems to make a difference, but it just does. It's probably just all in my mind, but let's do it anyways. Okay. Now that will magically help us fade better. Yep. See, it already is. No, I'm just kidding. It's totally all in my head, but that's okay. I'm gonna leave this one here. It's kind of like coming straight at us, kind of, so I don't want to add too much shadow on that. Not any dark shadow anyways, so we'll kind of leave that one for now. Let's go in with the Tuscan Red. I'm just going to go lightly here because I do want to add the sepia in here, but I'm going to do Tuscan Red for the shadows kind of underneath her arms and her hands. I'm going to kind of work at an angle here, less chance of putting red on her fingers. That'll be really hard to get off. And then we'll come in with the sepia. Let's add a little bit of the sepia just right directly underneath. I'm not going to fade it out or anything. I'm just going to add it in there. But on the pumpkin grooves, we'll kind of fade those out. Okay. I don't want this to end up being too dark, so I'm gonna skip going in with the Tuscan Red. I'm gonna go in with the terracotta to kind of bring these shadows out, I think. And just lightly. I'm gonna go firm at first, kind of near the shadows. I'm not gonna bring out this one too much though. I think I'm gonna just leave that as it is. But yeah, I'll go a little bit firmer near the shadows, and then I'm just going to really lighten up my pressure to bring them out. So I want to just give like a little bit of tint of this color, but I don't want it to be any darker than it is. I'm just going to lightly go over that, if I go over it too much and burnish it, we're not going to be able to kind of make it match the rest of the pumpkin. We don't want it to look off, so I'm going to do the same thing on the rest of these. We'll add a little bit of a shadow just on this side here. Let's come in with our orange, I think. Or let's actually come in with the pumpkin orange first, I think. I think I'm going to do that instead. I want to put a light layer of this, mostly just down from the shadows and out a little bit. There, and that'll turn that red kind of into more orange. I'm going to go a little bit firmer on this side to kind of add to this shadow here. It's a little bit awkward working on the very bottom like this. Okay, now let's go in with our orange. Just gonna completely go over the bit up there. So with a firm medium pressure, I'm gonna bring this out from our shadows. And then just kind of fade it out, leaving a highlight. And I'm just gonna layer and layer and layer until it's pretty much burnished for the most part and has a nice layer of that orange. Highlight on this one's going to be a little bit bigger just because there's not much for shadow. So it's going to be kind of a lighter portion of the pumpkin. Let's just go over this one. Let's just lightly go over these highlights with this color. Just because the beige is a little bit more of a yellow tone, so hopefully putting it over a light layer of the orange might make it a little bit more of an orangish tone. Turns it more like a kind of salmon peach color. I like that. Still go over these areas too. There we go. There's the big guy done. I'd like to get the pumpkins and the stems done in this part. So we'll see what we can do. We'll push on. We'll get all of that done even if it takes a while. Okay. So I'm not really going for like a pattern or anything. I just kind of wanted two similar pumpkins, at least of each, except for this one. Because as much as I like this one, I just wanted kind of one dark pumpkin to offset the rest. Because pumpkins aren't generically dark red. So I'm gonna make this one kind of the same color as these two. So it's kind of like a triangle. These are kind of at the bottom of the page, and then these two are going to be similar. So that way the pumpkins look kind of random, sporadic. The colors are similar, so they should still have a good balance to them. So let's go ahead and base this guy with some yellow ochre. I think this is one giant stem, hopefully. Okay. I want to go in with the mineral orange on this one. I think that's what we used last time. I think on this one we used the pumpkin orange, and I think that was too orange. I think we used the mineral orange on this one. I think that's why it turned out a little bit more yellow. That's kind of what I liked about it. So let's see what happens when we use this one. Again, I don't really care if the pumpkins look super similar in color. As long as they look fairly similar, then we're good. Okay, I do want to add a little bit of a shadow coming out from here because this is like a weird shape here. Maybe we could kind of add, let's add a little bit of a line here. And we'll shadow that. And that's going to be a little bit of another like pumpkin thing. I don't know what the words are for these. Like crease. I don't know. And then let's also add a little bit of a shadow going up this way on this one. I do think maybe we used the pumpkin orange too, or what did we use? Okay, we definitely used the mineral orange. I know we used the yellow ochre and the sepia. The terracotta, yeah, I think we definitely used that one too. Maybe we just used terracotta and then went over it with the mineral orange to kind of create this color, which tricked me, and that's why I thought it was pumpkin orange, because it's very similar, but it's more yellow. Let's try that and see. So let's go in the terracotta. Hopefully my swatches have been in view. I haven't really checked that. I know the pumpkins, for the most part, except this bit, has been in view. So this is where I just kind of added a little bit of a line here. We're going to accentuate that, and our shadow for this is actually going to go kind of down this way. So yeah, let's go in with our pumpkin orange. We'll add a little bit to our shadows. Not this one. We're going to leave that one for now. We might add to it after. We'll see what it looks like. We'll come in with the sepia. This is going to be our darkest. So let's add a decent layer right off the lines here. My tummy is angry. Okay, so far this is looking good. Let's just carry on and hope it continues to look good. Maybe add a little bit of a shadow kind of coming along down here. Just because, make it a little bit different. Definitely want to add to this one and just bring it down a little bit. Okay, from there, let's go back in with the terracotta. I apologize. I got a tickle in my throat. It doesn't want to go away. Okay. Had to pause for a little bit of a coughing fit there, but I think I'm okay. So since this is going to be mostly like a golden yellow, I don't want to add too much of this. It's a good transition color from the background though. I do want to add a little bit here though, I think. And I actually don't think I'd added this yet, did I? I don't know. So it said let's grab this again, but I'm not really seeing a whole lot of it on here already, unless I didn't use very much of it. I don't know. My brain is just eh. Okay, I want to darken this coming up as well. So let's add some more sepia here. More terracotta. And actually I wasn't done with this one. There's a little bit more of this in here. Okay. From here we can come out with the mineral orange. Make sure we pick up the right one. A lot of these colors look very similar just by going at the barrel. It's really easy to pick up the wrong one. Okay, I think this is definitely a lot more similar. So let's bring this in and we'll fade it out. From there, let's go in with the yellow ochre. Try and save a highlight here if we can. It'll be pretty small, but... And then, other than that, I'm just going to go over everything. Fade out towards our highlights. A little bit of a highlight on that part, and then this one down here, we're just going to color that right in. And then from there, we'll grab the beige and we'll just finish it off. Okay, last pumpkin. And then we'll do the stems, and that'll be it for part one. So, let's see here. I think we definitely used the pumpkin orange, so let's grab that one. Actually, let's grab the yellowed orange and we'll base it first. noticed in her arms, right beside her arms here, we've got some white spots. I'm not sure if that would be pumpkin or maybe dress. But I'm gonna grab Jasmine's picture here and take a quick peek and see what she has it as. Okay, it looks like she did it as dress. It's mostly just black. Okay. So now we can come in with our pumpkin orange and start adding a little bit of shadow. Following the exact same steps, I am gonna kind of bring the shadow up from the bottom as well. We can darken this one up a little bit because we're not going to put anything darker here. This will be our darkest shadow. Okay, I think looks like we mostly just used the terracotta for the darkest. We didn't get too crazy with the shadows on this one, so I want to kind of stick true to that. I'm gonna, oops, drop this and then sharpen it. Come on, phone, focus. There we go. I'm going to lightly go over this. I think I will add a little bit of the sepia to down here just to darken that shadow up, but other than that, this will be our darkest shadow everywhere else. Let's go in with our sepia. I'm going fairly heavy and then just fade it out. Let's maybe add just a tiny little bit to this corner here too. Actually on this one. I don't know why, I just feel like it needs a little bit of added darkness there. After the terracotta, let's go in with the pumpkin orange. I think that looks like. I think I'm just mostly just going to go over the shadows with this and then fade it out. Otherwise our pumpkin is going to be a little bit too dark for my liking. A tiny little bit to this one. I don't want to touch it too much. From there, we want the yellowed orange. Let's actually throw a little bit of the normal orange in on this one too. We'll make it look a little bit different. Let's just kind of fade this out slightly from the shadow. I don't know why, just random spur of the moment decision. Okay, and then we'll go back in with our yellowed orange. See if I can grab it. And we'll sharpen that up because it'll be easier to color. And we'll go over everything with this guy. Let's save a little bit of a highlight here. Not on this one, just this one. And this one. This one we'll just color in. And then we'll try and save a highlight on the rest of these. I'm going to lightly go over those highlights though, and give them a yellow tone. And then lastly, we'll come in with the beige. And we can finish off those highlights. I would really like to color in the stems, but I don't know how long that's gonna take. Let's do it. It should only take like 20 minutes, so this might be a 2-hour part, but you know what, we'll do what we need to do. I'm not gonna even try to guess how long any of this is gonna take because I'd probably be wrong. Let's get our oranges out of the way. We'll keep the sepia out though, we'll want that, and then we'll grab our greens. So I got 3 kind of base colors that I'm going to use. Let's start with the gray-green light, and I'm going to lightly base this one, even though we can't even really see it. I think I'm going to go with like pumpkins. So we'll do this one, and this one. And I think for these, we're just gonna zoom out a little bit. Let's see if we can get all of the stems in frame. That would be super helpful. Okay, just a touch more. For the most part, we've got all of them in frame. Okay, so these 3 with the gray-green light. Let's bring in the lime peel. I want to do, I think this one. This one. green light, we'll do this one. And this one. And then for a kind of random different pumpkin, we're just gonna maybe do a light version of the olive green. Okay, with that done, let's go in with the olive green actually. And we'll just start coloring little bits of this in, creating shadows. I don't really know how to color these, honestly, so we are just gonna completely wing it. We're gonna add some highlights, we're gonna add some shadows, and we're gonna hope that it looks good. Let's see, a little bit of a highlight at the very top part of that. We'll fade this bit out. A little bit of a shadow down here. This is kind of like our mid-tone, so we can go a little bit further with it because we will have a darker. Oh Jesus, that scared the crap out of me. Oh, my phone's gonna die. Okay. Alright, so I put my phone on the charger for a little bit, got some stuff ready for Inktober, and hopefully we got enough battery to finish this. I was hoping to record 2 parts before we had to go pick up little man, but hopefully the boys will find something to entertain themselves with later, and maybe I can record then, but we'll see. So I do want to come in with a little bit of the sepia on this one. This is going to be our darkest color, so I don't want to add too much of this, just a little touch. I'm gonna fade this out coming down here, and then I do want to add a little bit in here as well. Okay, where's our other one? Let's go in on the same, or in with the same steps. I believe this one's here, so in with the olive green. We'll lay a little bit of this down. This little bit back here, I think I'm just going to color that in completely. I'm going to go all along the bottom of here, shadow those up and fade them out. And then I'd like to add a little bit of shadow to kind of the left side of these lines here as well. Bring it out a little bit. Raise this one up a bit. And then we can go in with the sepia. And we'll darken up all of these shadows. from here, we're gonna go back in with the olive. Do this one first. I'm gonna go in fairly heavy. Kind of starting with a medium pressure, but I'm gonna build it up to a heavy pressure. Coming out from those shadows. And then we'll fade it out. And try and save a little bit of a highlight up top here too. Okay, next color for these, I think I'm actually going to go in with the sap green light after I do this one that I keep forgetting that we're doing two at a time here. It's this one back here, let's just color that in fully. And then we're just going to do the same thing that we did on the other one, trying to leave highlights where we can. And then we'll go in with the sap green light. So let's bring this out. Let's try and leave a little bit of a highlight too though. Just a very slim one at the very corners or very edges. So maybe get that out from under my arm and you guys might be able to actually see it. This up here though, I think I'm just going to color that in fully. But I've left a highlight kind of along here, here, and here. This back bit here we'll color in fully. Try and leave a highlight around here, here, and here. Hopefully that kind of gives it this twiggy look without it being completely brown, because I didn't want to, we're going to have brown trees in the background anyways, so. Okay, and then let's come in with the gray-green light and we're going to use that on the highlights. Let's move on to the darkest one, which is this one here. I'm just going to go in full throttle in with the sepia. I'm trying to fade this out, but I also want it kind of shadowed on this edge too. That out a little bit here. Don't know what I'm doing. shape like that. I'm going to put a little bit of a kind of triangular shaped shadow in here to kind of show that it's going like in. And then we'll come back in over top of that with the marine green, which I'm going to sharpen mine. See, even highlights where we can. Not a huge deal if we can't, though. And then let's go in with the olive green. I don't want to go too deep with this because the olive green and the marine green are very similar. But I just want to come in and lightly go over the highlights. And then we'll bring in the lime peel and we'll burnish and finish off the highlights with that. That way it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit of a cooler tone. And it won't be so bright though, so I want this one to be pretty dark. Let's actually throw a little bit of the lime peel in on this one too. I'm just gonna go over everything. Lighten it up a little bit, I like that. I'm gonna leave this one though. I'm gonna do just the very kind of top bit here. I'm gonna leave the rest, I think. Yeah. Yep. Okay. 5 more. We got this. Okay. So we did the one that we based with the lime peel, I believe. These are based with the sap green light. They're kind of medium. I don't know, I can't remember. Okay, well, we're just gonna kind of wing it. Let's go in with the marine green. I don't know what I'm doing anyways, so we'll just stick with that. So let's come in with kind of like a medium pressure. Pop some of this down here. There's no lines or anything, so we're gonna have to add some interest ourselves, which is super scary, but we can do it. Let's maybe add a line going up this way, shade it off this way, and then maybe just like a small one here. And then we're gonna create like a this shape thing and fade it on the inside. Yeah, okay, I like that actually. That actually turned out really good. I was just being silly. Okay. I want to bring in a little bit of the sepia on this, not too much. Mostly in kind of at the bottom where the corners tuck in. I do want to add just a little bit on the bottom part of this one, up the full length of this one, and then on the inside of this one. Just to really define those, and then just the very edge of this. We'll leave it like that. Go back in with the marine green. Just gonna bring it out a little bit more, a little bit more. Totally forgetting about this one. Okay, so this one's kind of like in the same boat. We don't have much going on here. We are in frame, yes, okay. Okay, so let's just kind of color in along here. This one's gonna be pretty dark here, this little bit coming up there. Kind of go like that. Let's have this one kind of look like it's turning a little bit. That'd be cool. So we'll kind of create a shape like that and have it come up like this. And then this one will go like that. And this one we can bring up like that. That looks kind of cool. I like that. Kind of do the same thing with the sepia. So we're going to darken up under here for sure. Just the very edge of this one again. I also want to darken up just the very corners of these. Bring this up a little bit. Here is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do just the very tips of the corners. I don't want them to blend too much into the shadow. And then I definitely want to accentuate that shadow too. Then we can go back in with the marine green and kind of add to it. A little bit of a shadow here. We're just going to completely fill that part in there. And then our next color, go in with the olive green. I'm going to lightly bring this out, leave a highlight, but lightly go over it. And then we'll finish this off with the lime peel. So now we just have these three little ones left. They're going to be our lightest ones, so I don't think I want to add any sepia. I think our darkest is going to be the marine green, which is not that one. It's this one. So let's go in and we'll start with that first. Add some little shapes in here so that way we can actually do something with it. This one, just leave it really simple. We'll just do two little lines like that. And then this one, let's kind of have like a triangle piece, kind of tapering off to the top, and then we'll just have it going out. Might pop a little bit of the sepia in this one because I'm pretty sure this is like a darker crevice area. At least that's what it looks like. Now I do want to darken up the bottoms a little bit. So let's grab our sepia. I lied. I'm going to a little bit on this side. A little bit up here. A little bit right there. And then for this one, just a little bit on the very tips. And then in this area here. Maybe a little tiny triangle right there. Okay, then we're actually going to switch to the lime green. Bring this out a little bit, try and leave highlights wherever we can. At this point, it doesn't really matter where. because none of this really makes sense, but it looks good. So there's that. It actually looks better than I thought it would, so. Maybe this bit we'll just color in. Okay, and then we are gonna finish it off with the gray-green light, which is super light. We won't be able to see it a whole lot, but it'll be there. There, and that completes our pumpkin patch. Zoom out here. That is what she's looking like. I am actually really excited. The colors, they are showing up fairly decent, but they are a little bit brighter in person. So I think with this being a 2-hour part, we are going to call it for part 1, and I will hopefully see you guys in part 2. As always, I hope you're enjoying and hope to see you next time. All right, guys, take care. Bye.